Uncharted is one of the greatest series PlayStation has to offer. Its charismatic lead Nathan Drake is very likable, the games have a wonderful cast of characters you're bound to love instantly, its environments are stunningly beautiful, and it has some of the best set pieces seen in games. Really, it's a series you can't go wrong with playing. It may have had a rough start debuting on the PlayStation 3 with Uncharted Drake's Fortune, but Uncharted 2 Among Thieves improved upon everything and became one of the greatest games on the system, and in a way is one of the games that really helped the struggling PlayStation 3. This series pushed the boundaries of what consoles could do, ignited a cinematic presentation seen in many games today, and is just one hell of a good time. But the Uncharted series is in an odd place today. It's at a turning point of sorts, a new beginning. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End signified the end of Nathan Drake's story, boldly giving this iconic character an ending when so many others would continue with endless sequels. The question remains on where the series can go from here. It's far too successful to let die off, and with 2022's Uncharted movie successfully grossing over $400 million at the box office, Uncharted is still a hot property. It's perfectly reasonable for people to want Uncharted to continue. I am one of those people. It's one of my top favorite series of all time. Uncharted has been an incredible experience to play throughout the years, even the games that aren't as good. Unlike something such as Tomb Raider, which is synonymous with Lara Croft and requires her to be the main character, Uncharted has the perfect opportunity to continue without Nathan Drake. A lot of people tend to want Nate and Elena's daughter Cassie to continue the legacy and become the next main character, but there are so many issues with this. Even though she's his daughter, it doesn't mean it's the stereotypical next generation type of story. I think we are far too used to seeing this happen when a character's offspring doesn't always signify this. So many of these fan ideas somehow end up being taken ripoffs where Nate has to come out of retirement to save his daughter, or his daughter has to save her father because of some figure from Nate's past wants revenge, and then some kind of mysterious artifact is thrown in there to make it feel like Uncharted. It's all cliched and unoriginal, and somehow very familiar to the plot of Uncharted 4. But a lot of these ideas speaks to a bigger issue at hand. Why can't we let characters have their ending? Toy Story had the perfect ending with its third film, but Disney loves their money, so we saw Toy Story 4 years later. It's a very enjoyable movie, but feels very unnecessary and forced. Like, the original emotional and heartfelt ending wasn't good enough, so they made a new one. Skybound Entertainment continued Clementine's story after Telltale's The Walking Dead, the final season, with the unnecessary graphic novel Clementine Book 1. Clementine's story arc came full circle in the game's fourth and final season, but for some odd reason, this ending was completely undone. Its story changed the character, reverted all of her progress, and made some incredibly odd choices to what and whom she once fought for. It made no sense whatsoever. There are always more stories to tell, but it doesn't mean that they should be told. There is such a thing as overstaying your welcome. You should leave people wanting more, but not give them that satisfaction because it won't be satisfying, it'll be overkill. We love these characters, they are what makes us happy, we become attached to them. Of course, we want to see more, but just like the process of grief, we need to learn to let go. And these companies need to learn to let these characters go. Often, it's best to end on a high note than to milk a brand for all it's worth. When we take control of Cassie in the epilogue of Uncharted 4, it's not to signify that she's taking over the series. It's meant to show the life Nate and Elena built after retiring from treasure hunting and the dangers that came with it, but we're seeing it from the view of their daughter, through brand new eyes. Despite her curiosity and shock at discovering her parents' past, it shouldn't be assumed that that's the life she would want to go into, and I'm guessing Nate would refuse for his daughter to face the same dangers he had to face. Think about it, parents typically want the best for their children. There is no reason for Cassie to enter into that life. Nate had to grow up with the death of his mother, his father not wanting him and his brother, placing them both in an orphanage. They had to completely change who they were because of circumstances out of their control. Nate had to kill people, risk his life on multiple occasions, often getting injured in the process. Nate has had the opportunity to give his daughter the life and childhood that he never had. We can assume Cassie grew up learning about ancient history because of her parents and their business, discovering artifacts the right way, the legal way of doing so. Clearly, Cassie has had an adventurous life and shares in their interests. It's hard to imagine Cassie having a desire for that dangerous lifestyle when it's so unneeded. Which is why Chloe Frazer is the perfect choice to continue the Uncharted series. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy showed that the series can retain what we all know and love it for, but allow a new protagonist to take over. The Lost Legacy was originally going to be DLC for Uncharted 4 Thief's End, but during development it became so big and ambitious that it became its own separate game in the process, and was sold as a smaller Uncharted experience. It was the first time in Uncharted's history where we fully played as a new main character, but luckily Chloe Frazer is well established, a fan favorite since her introduction in Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, which is why she works perfectly as a new series lead. There's no need in taking the time of getting to know a brand new character. It ties in well with the overall continuity of the Uncharted series, and ultimately Chloe controls just like Nate, allowing for longtime players to seamlessly play without any issue. Not every series has an opportunity like this to smoothly switch the main character, and in many ways, Chloe is similar to Nate. Both clearly like their treasure, the rush, the adrenaline, and discovery of what hasn't been found for centuries. They aren't afraid to get their hands dirty if they need to, they're quick thinkers, snapping their remarks. If it needs to happen, they're willing to do the right thing and sacrifice what they've been searching for. Well, mostly. For Chloe, it's certainly been a process. Throughout The Lost Legacy, we learn about Chloe, the events that basically led her into the world of treasure hunting, and it hints at why she can't trust people. In the past, Chloe has always been looking out for herself, turning her back to issues at hand, double-crossing people, and running away when need be. But this time, she learns from her mistakes. She has to face and own up to doing what's right and seeing things through to the end. The game is all about character growth, not just for Chloe, but also Nadine, a former enemy of Nate turned adversary to Chloe. It'd feel like a waste for all that time learning more about these characters to build up to no further adventures. More importantly, the ending of The Lost Legacy also brings together Chloe and Nadine as treasure hunting partners. It's an ending that feels like it signifies the future of the series, not just the future for these characters. The dynamic between the two are enjoyable. We watch them grow from simple business partners getting to know one another on the job to people who care for each other and argue because of the level and trust they have for one another. Both are practically starting over and resolving issues that have plagued them for so long. Chloe is highly knowledgeable on whatever she's seeking, while Nadine is more the brawn, so it's enjoyable when Chloe teaches Nadine, essentially teaching the player what everything means, and Nadine starts to catch on and enjoy it herself. The beauty of Uncharted have always been the characters, knowing all of these people and teaming up with them on occasion depending on the mission. Like how Chloe wasn't a big focus in Uncharted 3 but still played a part in Nate's adventure. And I love seeing these connections happen around the world. So while adding Nathan Drake to these adventures wouldn't make sense, having a cameo appearance as someone Chloe possibly confides in for knowledge and advice while Nadine sits it out because of their past would be both comical and a nice little tie-in. But it also opens up for characters such as Sam, Sully, and Cutter being part of the story. Naughty Dog has stated that Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is the last Uncharted game that would be developed by them as they move on with The Last of Us and other future projects. Of course, this then gives a new developer a chance to take Uncharted into a brand new direction. However that may be if it actually happens. There are rumors of a new Uncharted game in development by a new studio with the assistance of Naughty Dog. Possibly a reboot, but a reboot can mean many things. It could mean starting over with Nathan Drake, continuing with Chloe, or a new character. There were also reports swirling of an Uncharted Drake's Fortune remake. Could the first Uncharted benefit from remake? Definitely, but I think a lot of the issues the original release had on the PS3 were ironed out in the PlayStation 4 remaster. Personally, I just like to see the series move on with what it's built. While the future of Uncharted is unknown, the success of the Uncharted film and its inevitable sequel may have some dictation on the series, especially if it's sold like a tie-in game. Naughty Dog has let Nathan Drake go, but the real question is, can Sony let this character have his final moment, or will Nathan Drake forever be stuck in the realm of possible remakes and reboots because of the success of his big screen counterpart? Chloe Frazer is the best candidate for the job. She's perfect to take over the series. She's already well established, has proven that she can lead an Uncharted game, is similar to Nathan Drake but different enough to stand on her own, and she's a great way to include appearances of other characters like Sam and Sully. Uncharted will continue, but how it does and who will star in it is currently a mystery. Logically, this is why I see Chloe being the perfect lead to continue the series, but Sony will do whatever they want with the series, and we'll just have to see how that goes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you see starring in Uncharted's future? Do you think they'll just reboot the games with Nathan Drake again? Please be sure to like and subscribe for future content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.